Welcome back, valued viewers, to Inner Purpose Therapy, your ultimate resource for mental health support, coping tools, and techniques. Whether you're a longtime subscriber or a first-time visitor, we're thrilled to have you here with us. In our continuous endeavor to provide you with insightful content, we are pleased to present the second episode of our enlightening hypnotherapy series, Master Your Mind. Today, we'll be delving into an intriguing topic that often leaves us puzzled: the role of evolution in emotional difficulties. Although modern living has its own set of challenges, it's important to remember that our emotional responses have been shaped over millennia and were originally designed to ensure our survival. So, brace yourselves as we embark on a fascinating journey exploring the paradox of emotional difficulties, the relevance of our early human history, and the intriguing evolutionary perspectives on emotions such as anxiety, depression, and anger. Let's begin. Ever wondered about the rationale behind emotional discomforts like anxiety or depression? Many of us wrestle with these questions, especially in the midst of such challenges. Consider this exercise. Reflect on an incident that triggers anxiety, sadness, or anger in you. This could be an imminent presentation or the unending silence from a friend. Try to understand why this particular situation evokes these emotions. It's possible that your fear of public speaking originates from a past event where you felt humiliated or mocked. We often associate emotions with events, assuming one results in the other. However, this isn't true for everyone, as some individuals enjoy public speaking, and anxiety doesn't plague them. To comprehend this, we must time travel to the era of our earliest ancestors. Visualize a world brimming with danger at every corner, where leaving your cave might lead to a clash with a beast or a rival tribe. Imagine being at the mercy of fickle weather conditions, where a sudden storm could leave you without proper shelter. Luckily, nature provided a defense mechanism, an inbuilt alarm system, to ensure species survival. In humans, this system is part of our limbic system. Our amygdala works as a warning bell, detecting danger and sounding the alarm. The hypothalamus then prompts the glands to secrete the necessary chemicals, and the hippocampus activates our fight, flight, or freeze response. From an evolutionary viewpoint, the anxiety we feel is in response, a heightened state of alert to protect against potential threats. Similarly, what we identify as depression today could have been an adaptive response to severe environmental conditions, urging early humans to withdraw and save energy. Anger, too, can be viewed as an adaptive response, readying us for confrontation with its surge of energy. So, how can we explain the difference in response to the same challenges? It's important to delve deeper into our emotional responses to understand this. Today, our threats and stressors have evolved alongside us. We no longer fear wild animals or harsh weather conditions, but face new challenges such as global pandemics, societal pressures, relationship problems, and the constant stress of meeting our own and society's expectations. When confronted with these modern threats, our ancient alarm system still kicks in. Imagine, for instance, you're about to give a presentation. Your heart races, your palms get sweaty, your mind races. These are all responses to a perceived threat. However, unlike a lion attack, a presentation is not a life-threatening situation. It's our thought process around the event that triggers our anxiety, not the event itself. Our advanced prefrontal cortex, or the intellectual mind, allows us to imagine and anticipate future events, which can lead to anxiety or stress if we view these events from a negative perspective. This is where our imagination, a gift that has propelled us to great heights as a species, can also be our downfall. When we operate from a place of fear, our perspective shifts and everything becomes a potential threat. We may start to imagine the worst possible outcomes or remember past events from a negative viewpoint, triggering our body's alarm system and leading to feelings of anxiety, depression, or anger. But remember, these emotions are not evidence of any personal failing. They're natural responses to perceived threats, deeply ingrained in our biology for survival. It's important to understand that these threats are often imagined, not real. By recognizing this, we can start to change our thought patterns and underlying beliefs that limit us, allowing us to approach problems from a solution-focused perspective rather than a place of fear. This shift in perspective can help us manage our emotional responses and improve our overall well-being. So remember, your anxiety, depression, or anger is not a sign of weakness. They are survival mechanisms, and understanding this can help us approach them with compassion and patience. In the next scene, we'll summarize how evolution plays a role in our emotional difficulties. As we've seen, our emotional difficulties have roots in our evolutionary history. The feelings of anxiety, depression, and anger that we experience today are not just random emotions. They are adaptive responses that have been shaped by our ancestors' survival needs. Anxiety, for example, is a vestige of our ancestors' need to constantly be on high alert, ready to spring into action at the sight of danger. This heightened state of alertness was crucial in a world where threats lurked around every corner. Without this alarm system, our ancestors may not have survived long enough for us to be here today. Similarly, depression can be seen as an adaptive response to long, harsh winters and other adverse environmental conditions. When resources were scarce and conditions outside were unbearable, our ancestors would have been better off conserving energy and staying safe inside their shelters. This could explain why one might feel a loss of energy or interest in social interaction during a depressive episode. Anger, too, has its roots in survival. It's an emotion that can fuel us, make us stronger, more aggressive, and ready to fight when faced with a threat. This was particularly useful in a time when physical confrontations were a common part of life. Now, this is not to say that these emotional difficulties are desirable or necessary in our current lives. They can be extremely debilitating and can cause a lot of suffering, but understanding their evolutionary roots can help us see them in a new light. They are not just random, inexplicable feelings. They are part of our shared human experience, shaped by thousands of years of survival and adaptation. So when these feelings arise, instead of being swept away by them, we can acknowledge them for what they are, signs that our bodies are trying to protect us, based on a blueprint that was created thousands of years ago. We can use this understanding to approach our emotional difficulties with more compassion and patience, and to seek help when we need it. So next time you experience anxiety, depression, or anger, remember, these are not just difficulties but survival mechanisms with deep evolutionary roots. Let's take a moment to revisit the exercise we started with in the beginning of this session. Reflect on the emotion that you identified earlier, be it anxiety, anger, or sadness. Now, armed with the understanding that these emotions are deeply rooted in our evolutionary past, let's re-examine them. 1. Trigger. Jot down what precisely triggers this emotion in you. 2. Reason. What reasons did you previously assign for experiencing this emotion? 3. Evidence. 4. What concrete evidence do you have that justifies this emotional response? Now, let's dig a bit deeper. 4. Emotional or intellectual mind. Is this emotional reaction primarily driven by a solution-focused, positive approach, or is it influenced more by fear and the need for self-preservation? 5. Other possible reasons. Considering our discussion on the evolutionary origins of these emotions, how else might you interpret what you're feeling? Could it be an evolutionary response to a perceived threat, rather than a reflection of your current reality? 6. Solution. With this new perspective in mind, what could be some possible solutions to address the trigger of this emotion? Remember, these emotions aren't signs of weakness, but rather survival mechanisms that have been passed down through generations. Understanding this can help us approach our emotional struggles with a sense of compassion and patience. Thank you for joining us today in our Hypnotherapy Master Your Mind series. Please like, subscribe, and share so you don't miss out on any more inner purpose therapy content in the future.